Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something truly fascinating, the science of neuroplasticity.
Right. Which is really about how you can quite literally rewire your own brain.
It's amazing because for generations, the thinking was completely different, wasn't it?
Mhm.
The adult brain was seen as, well, fixed, like concrete.
Exactly. Locked in after childhood. That was the standard medical view. Set in stone.
But the last, 50 years or so, research has completely flipped that idea on its head.
Oh, absolutely. We now know the brain is incredibly dynamic. It's constantly changing, physically changing, based on, what we do, what we experience.
Uncritically what we think.
Yeah.
Consistently.
That's the key part. Our thoughts actively shape its structure.
There's a great analogy in the sources we looked at about brain pathways being like forest trails.
Yeah, I like that one if you keep using the same trail over and over.
It gets wider, clearer, easier to walk down. It becomes the default path.
And that's exactly what happens with neural pathways. Repeated thoughts or actions strengthen that specific circuit. It literally becomes more defined physically.
Okay, so where does this foundational idea come from? The blueprint for this?
Well, the core concept goes back quite a way, actually, to 1949. A psychologist named Donald Hebb,
Hebb's law.
that's the one. It's often summed up with that catchy phrase.
The neurons that fire together wire together.
Exactly. It sounds simple, but it's profound. It's the basic rule for how learning, memory, habits, how they physically take shape in the brain.
So it's about strengthening connections when two brain cells are active at the same time.
Simultaneously, yes. That's crucial. It's not just one after the other. It has to be together. That synchronicity tells the brain, okay, these two things are related. Let's build a stronger link here.
It's the physical mechanism, not just a theory anymore.
Right. And we moved from theory to solid proof thanks to researchers like Dr. Michael Mercenit. His work was pioneering.
The cortical remapping studies. This is where it gets really concrete, doesn't it?
Definitely. Mercenich showed that the brain's internal maps, like the map of the body on the sensory cortex, aren't static at all. They change.
How do they show that?
Well, in animal studies, if, say, a finger wasn't used anymore, the part of the brain dedicated to that finger didn't just go quiet.
It didn't just shut down.
No, the areas responsible for neighboring fingers or parts of the hand would actually invade that unused territory. They'd take it over.
Wow. So the brain literally reorganizes its own real estate based on use.
It's incredibly pragmatic. Use it or lose it, essentially. That unused neural space gets repurposed pretty quickly.
Okay, so that physical proof, how does that connect directly to, us, to our everyday thoughts and feelings?
Well, that's the bridge to what we might call directed neuroplasticity. If the brain physically changes based on use and disuse,
Then we can intentionally direct that use.
precisely. We can consciously choose which pathways we want to strengthen. We can leverage Hebb's law deliberately.
So by choosing to focus on certain thoughts or ideas,
The brain doesn't really distinguish strongly between intense, repeated mental focus and, say, physical input. It treats that consistent mental repetition as important data.
which brings us to the practical application. The sources mention repeating phrases like, I am happy, or I am healthy, things like that.
Right. When you deliberately, consistently repeat a specific thought or affirmation, you're making those specific clusters of neurons fire together again and again.
And because they're firing together.
They wire together. That pathway gets stronger, more myelinated, more efficient. It becomes the brain's path of least resistance for that concept or feeling.
So you're literally building the neural infrastructure for happiness or health or whatever you're focusing on.
You are actively constructing it. Your feelings, and often your actions, tend to follow the most well-worn neural paths. You're making the positive path the easiest one to take.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for someone listening?
I think the main thing is, you're not stuck. You're not just a victim of old habits or negative thought loops from the past.
Because the brain isn't fixed, it's dynamic.
It's dynamic, and you have agency. You can be the architect of your own brain using intention and repetition.
You're actively shaping its structure.
By consciously choosing which pathways to build and strengthen, you're doing more than just thinking positively. You are quite literally laying down the physical tracks for a different reality, from the inside out.
So the final thought to leave people with is maybe, what specific tracks, what mental pathways are you actively strengthening right now, today?